London, 1888. Gaslit streets shrouded in thick fog. Cobblestones echoing with footsteps in the darkness. Jack the Ripper killed 5 women in Whitechapel with absolute impunity. No cameras watched the alleys. No DNA databases existed. No phones recorded movements. No digital payments left traces. He vanished into history, never identified, never caught. Now picture London 2024. The exact same streets. But everything has changed. 942,000 CCTV cameras blanket the city. One camera for every 14 people. Facial recognition scanners at every tube station and transport hub. Smartphones glowing in every hand. Ring doorbells on nearly every door. Speed cameras, bus cameras, private security feeds. DNA databases covering millions of profiles. Digital payments tracked to the exact second. Would the Ripper have survived even one single night in this world of constant surveillance? The modern world is the most comprehensively monitored environment in human history. Every financial transaction is logged and analyzed. Every phone movement is recorded by cell towers and GPS. Every face can potentially be recognized by powerful software. Every DNA sample left behind can be matched against vast databases. The density of surveillance is overwhelming. The smartphone sits at the absolute center of this entire thought experiment. It is simultaneously the most powerful weapon a modern killer could possibly wield and the most powerful tool law enforcement could use to catch them. The same device, the same network, the same infrastructure. History's most notorious killers would suddenly have access to both sides of this double-edged sword. What they chose to do with that access is the core of this disturbing experiment. DNA profiling revolutionized forensic science forever after 1984. Jack the Ripper left biological material at his crime scenes that would today produce a complete genetic profile in hours. The Zodiac's saliva, carefully licked on envelope flaps, remains preserved in evidence storage. The Golden State Killer, whose crimes began decades earlier, was finally identified and caught in 2018 through a commercial genealogy website, 73 long years after his first attacks. DNA does not forget. DNA does not care how much time has passed. The double helix remembers everything the witnesses forgot and the years tried to erase. Social media has become the ultimate public record and documentation platform. Criminals use it to build cover. Investigators mine it for evidence. Holmes would operate as a polished property developer with professional headshots and glowing Trustpilot reviews. Ted Bundy would craft incredibly charming dating profiles across multiple apps. BTK, Dennis Rader, would pose as a respected church volunteer, compliance officer, and neighborhood watch leader on Facebook, Twitter, and Nextdoor. The profiles would look completely real and convincing. The lies hidden beneath them would be equally real. But the metadata, location tags, connection graphs, and digital footprints they left behind would form the backbone of any investigation. CCTV footage in 2024 is utterly relentless. Grainy yet omnipresent. Automatic number plate recognition. Advanced facial recognition software. Body-worn cameras on every police officer. In 2024, Jack the Ripper walking through Whitechapel would be photographed by at least 40 different cameras during a single night. His face would be cross-referenced against offender databases within minutes. His movements would be traceable literally to the meter. The deep historical darkness he once relied upon simply no longer exists in modern London. The dark web represents the digital reincarnation of the gaslit alley. It feels anonymous. It feels encrypted. Modern criminals believe they're invisible there. But the dark web has something the original alleys never had: a persistent digital footprint. Metadata survives even through encryption. Server logs remain despite attempts at deletion. The FBI, National Crime Agency, and Europol maintain constant 24/7 monitoring. The darkness online is actually more heavily surveilled than the physical darkness on the streets. History's killers would quickly learn this hard lesson. Financial systems have evolved into powerful weapons against organized crime. Al Capone was famously caught on tax evasion charges in 1931 simply because he never filed returns. In 2024, that kind of evasion is virtually impossible. Digital banking records every single transaction automatically. Anti-money laundering software instantly flags unusual cash patterns and large withdrawals. HMRC and the IRS receive real-time financial data feeds. Capone's $60 million a year in illegal revenue would trigger alerts across multiple countries simultaneously. The human accountant who built the case against him in 1931 would today be replaced by sophisticated algorithms that never sleep. Dating apps would provide Ted Bundy with the perfect modern hunting ground. His good looks, articulate speech, and fabricated credentials would generate exceptional match rates. His profile would appear safe, charming, and trustworthy. Yet the same apps that enabled faster connections would also provide the evidence for swift conviction. Location sharing, message metadata, and phone tracking would create irrefutable digital evidence after the very first victim. Charles Manson never personally killed anyone. His true power was charisma and psychological manipulation. In 2024, he would launch a YouTube channel called something like Charlie's Truth, Real Talk, and easily reach 2.4 million or more subscribers. The platform's algorithm strongly rewards exactly the controversial, hypnotic content he would produce. The family would no longer be limited to 12 followers in a remote California colony. It will become a massive online community spanning hundreds of thousands across Discord servers, Telegram groups, and other platforms. Radicalization would happen at unprecedented global scale. The digital version of Manson will be far more dangerous than the original. Holmes constructed the infamous murder castle in 1893, a building specifically designed with gas lines, secret passages, trapdoors, and soundproofed rooms to facilitate murder. In 2024, he would operate multiple Airbnb properties as a verified superhost. The listings would feature beautiful professional photography and 5-star reviews written only by guests who checked out alive. Those who didn't would simply never leave reviews. Modern platforms like Airbnb do not conduct detailed structural surveys of host properties, creating dangerous gaps. Harold Shipman murdered over 200 patients while practicing as a doctor. He was eventually caught due to a poorly forged will. In 2024, he would confront the full power of the NHS spine system. Every patient record linked nationally. Every controlled drug prescription tracked to the microgram. Automatic mortality monitoring systems would detect his statistically anomalous death rates within months rather than years. Electronic audit systems would trigger unstoppable investigations. The algorithm would end his killing spree long before it reached historical levels. Pedro Lopez murdered across 3 South American countries, crossing borders freely. In 2024, biometric passport controls and Interpol's 24/7 real-time database would flag him after the first cluster of murders. His movements between nations would be automatically tracked. He would end almost immediately. Fred and Rose West preyed on vulnerable young women and runaways. In 2024, their Facebook activity and community posts would reveal the pattern. National missing persons algorithms would connect multiple disappearances to their Gloucester address. Child protection systems would trigger multi-agency reviews after the third case, not after 20 years of horror. Samuel Little hunted across America's highways for 35 years. In 2024, those same highways are covered with ANPR cameras, gas station CCTV, and strict motel identification requirements. His greatest weapon, total anonymity, has been almost completely destroyed by modern infrastructure. The modern world equips both killers and investigators with powerful new tools. Killers gain encryption, dark web access, VPNs, and anonymous apps. Investigators gain DNA databases, mass surveillance, financial tracking, and behavioral analytics. Which side ultimately wins depends on the specific killer, the specific technology, and the inevitable failures within complex systems. Jack the Ripper steps into 2024 London on night 1. He walks the familiar Whitechapel streets. Within 10 minutes, he is captured on 17 different camera systems. His face recorded from 14 angles. His distinctive gait analyzed. He has done nothing wrong yet, but he is already one of the most comprehensively documented people on the street. The women the Victorian Ripper once targeted are no longer isolated and disconnected. Every woman walking alone at night carries a smartphone. Location sharing with friends via WhatsApp. Video calls in progress. Safe walk features active. Creating the isolation he needed now generates its own clear digital trail. Al Capone attempts to rebuild his criminal empire. Alcohol is legal and heavily regulated. The markets he pioneered have been industrialized by powerful cartels. He would adapt into digital corruption, paying influencers, manipulating algorithms, using cryptocurrency donations. But anti-corruption systems constantly monitor for unusual patterns. Ted Bundy on modern dating apps. His success rate would be extraordinary. The algorithm rewards the exact traits that made him deadly: charm, attractiveness, apparent safety. Yet after the first disappearance, message logs and phone location data would provide irrefutable evidence. More dangerous at the beginning, caught far faster overall. BTK as a compliance officer in suburbia. GPS on his work vehicle. Require body cameras. Ring networks recording his every approach. His own official electronic records would become the evidence that destroys his cover story within minutes. The Zodiac attempting encrypted communications, using Signal, Proton Mail, and Tor. But metadata trails, linguistic analysis, and cell tower pings would betray him. His beloved ciphers solved instantly by AI. The taunts that once terrified authorities would now serve as direct evidence against him. Jeffrey Dahmer in his apartment. Delivery app orders logged. Amazon purchases of chemicals flagged. Neighbor complaints entered into digital housing systems. Environmental health alerts would trigger automatically. He would not remain hidden for 13 years. Harold Shipman at his NHS terminal. The spine system connecting all patient data. Mortality rate charts showing clear anomalies. Automatic audits firing. His career would end within 18 months. Fred and Rose West. Digital safeguarding systems and missing persons cluster analysis would link disappearances to their home quickly. Multi-agency reviews after the third case. Pedro Lopez at international borders. Biometric scans and Interpol red notices would end his cross-border killing spree early. Samuel Little driving American interstates. NPR cameras, widespread CCTV, and ID requirements at motels would eliminate his anonymity. Charles Manson's YouTube channel growing to millions. Algorithm-driven radicalization creating a global online family. The scale impossible in 1969. Elizabeth Bathory's wellness brand collapsing under digital employment records and missing persons links. John Wayne Gacy as contractor. Missing workers flagged by employment systems. Ground-penetrating radar deployed early on his property. Andrei Chikatilo in modern Russia. Heavy surveillance infrastructure exists, but systemic corruption and institutional failures might still allow him to operate longer than in the West. Holmes attempting to build a new murder castle. Planning permission, building inspectors, fire safety regulations, and gas safe requirements would make hidden rooms and trapdoors impossible. The most disturbing conclusion after reviewing every case. The most dangerous historical killer in 2024 is not the most physically violent. It is the most psychologically manipulative. Charles Manson, empowered by modern social platforms, would pose the greatest threat. Modern systems catch physical killers significantly faster with far fewer victims. This is not speculation. This is real London with 942,000 actual cameras watching every day. Real DNA forensics laboratories processing millions of profiles, waiting to match evidence from cold cases. Real dating apps used by 400 million people worldwide with no universal background check requirement. Real YouTube recommendation algorithms driving 70% of watch time toward increasingly extreme content. Real Interpol systems connecting 195 countries with real-time criminal data sharing. Real NHS electronic records systems tracking every prescription and patient outcome. Real millions of Ring doorbell cameras installed across the UK, creating shared neighborhood surveillance networks. Real facial recognition technology deployed at events and transport hubs with massive custody photo databases. Real law enforcement operations continuously monitoring the dark web, leading to hundreds of transformed into places of remembrance. Real survivors finding global voices through digital platforms. Real AI forensic tools dramatically improving solve rates. The same internet that can radicalize also provides widespread mental health support and crisis intervention. Mass surveillance catches many killers, but also risks monitoring journalists, activists, and ordinary citizens. Digital memorials ensure victims' names and stories are preserved forever. Modern murder investigations in the UK are often solved in under 48 hours thanks to digital evidence. Yet serious failures still occur. Warnings ignored. Bias is persisting. Institutional will sometimes lacking. The cities continue, London, Chicago, Gloucester, San Francisco, surveilled, connected, imperfect but better protected than in the past. The work of improvement is never finished. The full picture is clear. Most historical killers would be caught far faster in 2024 with dramatically fewer victims. Physical violence is heavily constrained by technology. But psychological and manipulative killers like Manson are dangerously amplified by the same technology. The scales of justice tilt positive overall compared to 1888, 1929, or 1969. More systems work. More cases are solved, but they do not balance perfectly. Bias in victim selection, underfunding of prevention, and online radicalization remain serious ongoing problems. The genuinely new monsters created by 2026 include mass online radicalization, where one voice influences millions, digital sexual exploitation at unprecedented scale, AI-enabled deep fakes and deception, and algorithmic amplification of extremism with no single human instigator. Prevention that truly works is not primarily about better cameras or more databases. It is about evidence-based human solutions. Early childhood intervention, accessible mental health care, economic opportunity, strong community connections, and quality education. These reduce crime at the source before it begins. After all the technology, all the analysis, and all the thought experiments, what remains most important are the victims. Their names, their stories, the 5 women of Whitechapel, the many victims of Bundy, Gacy, the West, and others across continents and centuries. They deserve warm remembrance, not just cold data. This specific child playing safely today, completely unaware of the systems protecting them, is the true reason for all of this. The DNA matches, the financial flags, the missing persons algorithms, the mental health interventions. This child is why we build these systems. The most important question this experiment leaves us with is not simply whether killers would be caught faster. It is this: what are we building today that future generations will look back on and study as the failure we failed to see coming? Technology changes the timeline of evil. It does not change or eliminate the existence of evil itself. The cameras, databases, and algorithms cannot answer the deepest human questions about protection, prevention, and compassion. Only we can. Only our choices can.